If charged with aggravated assault in the state of Florida, you're still dealing with the basic three elements of a misdemeanor assault. First, that the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant willfully and intentionally threatened by word or act to do violence to a victim. Second, that the defendant has the ready ability to carry out that threat in an immediate sense. And third, that it created a well-founded fear in the mind of the victim or the person receiving the word or act to harm. What makes it an aggravating assault is that you're either using a deadly weapon as a part of that assault, or that the assault was made with a fully formed conscious intent to commit a felony upon that victim. And the state also has to prove all of the elements of whatever that felony that they're alleging the person is intending to commit. When it comes to deadly weapons in Florida for aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and other charges, it's any object that will likely cause death or great bodily harm if used in the ordinary and usual manner contemplated by its design and construction. So some items we might think of, let's say in the board game Clue, those types of weapons, candlesticks, wrenches, knives, guns, these are things that inherently have a deadly kind of status or an ability to use. But it can also be an item that's not designed to inflict bodily harm, but may nonetheless be a deadly weapon if it's used or threatened to be used in a way that could likely cause death or bodily harm. So for example, this pen, you don't think of a pen as a deadly weapon. A child can buy a pen. But if it's a strong enough metal pen with a strong enough point, and maybe the person has enough power to get it into a sensitive area of the body, it could be a deadly weapon. So based on how it's being used and represented, it may satisfy that element. Understand that it is not necessary for the state to prove that you have the intent to kill for an aggravated assault to occur. The most common defenses in these cases are either that it didn't happen, or that whatever action was being taken isn't created a well-founded fear. Again, it just has to be in the mind of a reasonable person. It does not have to be that the victim had an actual fear, and this can be sometimes a difficult legal concept to understand. The state attorney does not have to prove that the victim receiving the threat had actual fear. It just has to be that a well-founded fear in the mind of a reasonable person might take place. So some people might ask, well, what if this person says that I wasn't afraid? Well, it would be the totality of the circumstances and the act of the assault being committed, whether or not the state attorney's office could satisfy that third element of a well-founded fear.